I heard so many good things about the Nitecore NU25 headlamp, so I decided to get one and take it on the Rota Vicentina, the PCT and beyond. So, without further ado, here's my full review. Let's go. Hello, Russ here, bringing you the best tips and inspiration for hiking around the world. If all of that sounds right up your street, then do consider hitting that subscribe button below for more content just like this every single week. Before I got the Nitecore NU25, I was using the Olight H2R Nova. It was a fantastic lamp, incredible beam distance, incredible battery life, rechargeable, ticked all the boxes, but it was just too heavy. And for a through hike like the PCT, unless you're hiking in the nighttime a lot and doing a lot of nighttime miles, it wasn't incredibly necessary. The next lamp that I chose had to be lighter, still had to be rechargeable, had to be packed full of features. It also had to have a really good beam distance, and it also had to be comfortable. When I heard about the Nitecore NU25, it was a bit of a no-brainer. Before I went for the Olight H2R Nova, I was actually using a black diamond ion. It was fine, but the beam distance wasn't good. It wasn't that bright. It was incredibly lightweight and very comfortable, but it also wasn't rechargeable. You had to use two AAA batteries. Lots of people said that the NU25 that I have here in my hand was the one to go for, so I really couldn't wait to try it out. The Nitecore NU25 cost me 35 quid on Amazon. It weighs 53 grams with the strap and 28 grams without the strap. The maximum output is 360 lumens. The beam distance is 81 meters. It has 160 hours of runtime on the lowest setting. It has a rechargeable lithium-ion battery. It's water resistant to IP66, so it can be used in heavy rain and is dust proof. It is impact resistant to 1 meter, so if you drop it at about a meter's distance, it's not going to shatter and smash everywhere. I've used it for about 250 miles now, and it is by far the best all-round lamp that I've ever used. The Nitecore NU25 has 3 brightness modes, a white light, a red light, an SOS beacon. It has a 2-button control, and the headlamp tilts on a bracket, as well as having a micro USB cable included. Okay, let's run through the settings now. As you can see on the top, you have 2 buttons. One is for the main LED and one is for the red light. If we just click the main LED button, as you can see, you just click it once and start thumbing through all 3 of the settings. The lowest setting is 1 lumen and the lamp will last for 160 hours on a full charge on that. The mid setting is 38 lumens and on a full charge the lamp will run for 8 hours. And the high setting is 190 lumens and the lamp will last for 5 hours on a full charge. That is very good for night hiking. If you click and hold the main LED button, it will run on a boost mode for about half an hour until it gets overheated, and it will actually start to dim the light back to the highest normal setting. So it's very good for night hiking, great for scoping out different sections of the trail, seeing what's ahead and all those kinds of things. But to be honest, I never really used this just because I wanted to kind of save the battery. If the NU25 starts to overheat on the turbo mode, it will actually just go back to the normal setting, and if you try and go back to the turbo setting, it won't, and it will just go to the highest setting. The other button on the top is for the red light, so we're just going to go through that now. If we switch on the lamp just with the red light, at the lowest setting is 0.9 lumens and the lamp will run for 68 hours on that. And if we thumb through to the next highest setting, that is 13 lumens and the lamp will run for 7.5 hours on that setting. I do find that the red lamp is perfect for camp, and it's great for preserving your night vision, so you're not going to get kind of really distorted night vision. If you can't really blind yourself with this light, you won't get really distorted night vision, and it stops all the glare and everything like that. So I do find a red lamp is very useful, especially if you're at camp. Okay, let's just switch the red light off. Also on the front, under the red LED, if you click and hold the main LED button on while the lamp is off, it will actually switch on this little LED, which is also really good for camp. And what they say is this is a perfect white light, so the other one's a little bit bluer than this one. And what this will enable you to do is, while you're at camp or if you're walking around at night, the colours that bounce off from this light will actually become a lot more colourful, so you can actually see more colour in the dark. I found that to be true, but to be honest, I don't really use this setting much. I prefer to just use this while I'm hiking, and I just go for the red lamps when I'm at camp. Okay, to switch that off, you just then press the main LED and it is off. If you triple click the red LED button, it will go into a strobe light mode on the red LED. If you click and hold the main LED light and wait for the secondary LED light to turn on, you actually get an SOS beacon on the main LED. So it will just thumb through that entire SOS beacon all on its own, which is really handy for keeping you safe. And if you smash the SOS button on your GPS unit, especially if it's at night or in low visibility, this will help you get discovered by the mountain rescue team. Okay, looking a bit closer at the top, you can see the two buttons here. What's really cool about the NU25 is that it does have a lock feature. If you click both of these at the same time, it will lock the entire unit. So now I'm pressing all these buttons, nothing actually works, which is really handy. And if you want to switch the lock off, you just click them both at the same time, and as you can see, it's back to how it was, which is really handy. So if you've got this in your hip belt pocket or in your backpack, you can make sure that you're not putting any spurious inputs into this and wasting the battery. One of the downsides to this lamp is as the battery runs out, the light does start to dim, but if you want a bit more of a precise check as to how much battery is left on the lamp, all you have to do is click and hold the red light button, and on the top some LEDs will start to blink. Now if it blinks 3 times, basically that means that it's over 50% battery. If it blinks twice, it's under 50% battery, and if it's 1 blink, then it basically means that it's under 10% and you need to charge the lamp. In terms of charging, there is a water resistant charge port on the bottom of the lamp, and basically it's under this little cover. All you have to do is pull back this little cover, and it's got a micro USB inside, which is really handy, nice and universal. Any of your micro USB cables will fit this lamp. For me, it usually takes between 1 and 2 hours to charge, so let's say an hour and a half on average. It all depends on the usage that I've put on it. I used the Nitecore NU25 on the Pacific Crest Trail, and it came up trumps with the battery life. It lasted me about 10 days. I got all the way to the San Jacinto Mountains before it started to really dim and I started running out of battery. I did put the USB charger in there, and I put my battery bank in the shoulder pocket on my backpack, so I was charging through the wire from my shoulder pocket to the headlamp while it was on my head while I was walking, and it worked really well. But the cable actually started to pop out quite a few times, so I ended up just putting the cable in, stashing this in my hip belt pocket, and then putting my Nitecore Tiki torch on and just using that to walk with instead of having this on my head. So maybe I just didn't put the USB cable in there enough, it just kept popping out. But yeah, it was good to have that backup. But yeah, if I'd put the USB cable in a bit more sturdily, it probably wouldn't have popped out. The Nitecore NU25 is an incredibly light lamp for all the features that you get. It's just the lamp on its own is so light, but a lot of hikers, what they do is when they get this, they take the actual standard strap off and they put some shock cord in there and just use that to strap it around the head. But I've tried it and I didn't really feel that it was comfortable enough. I actually prefer using the head strap here, but if you're really looking to save some weight and you're not worried about losing a little bit of comfort, then yeah, go for it and put the shock cord on. It does save you about 1 ounce. On the strap, it also comes with like a silicone strip. I don't know if you can see that just there. What that does is basically stop any sweat and grime dripping into your face, basically, which is a nice little touch. And it's one of the other reasons why I quite like this headlamp strap instead of using a piece of shock cord like a lot of hikers do. Another one of my favorite points about this is the battery life. And for its weight, the battery life is incredible. Like I said, it lasted me nearly 2 weeks on a single charge. And my favorite, best bit of all time about this lamp is definitely the fact that for its size and its weight, it is so feature packed. You've got the red light, the white light, the main beam, you've got all the different settings, you've got the strobe, you've got the SOS beacon, USB rechargeable, waterproof. Dare I say any more, the amount of features that are on this are incredible, and for the price at 34 quid, you really can't go wrong. It is probably the best lamp that I've ever used for all-round hiking use. As I said before, the only problem I had was while charging it whilst on the move. It was a shame that the micro USB kept popping out while I was on the move. One thing that I can suggest that a lot of other hikers have suggested is that you get a right angled micro USB that sticks in there, so it takes the cable out and away of your face, and it also probably wouldn't get snagged and it wouldn't pop out as easily as it did. And my last pet peeve about this lamp is the fact that it just dims when it starts to really run out of battery. If it starts dimming, you've basically got like between 5 and 10% left on the battery, and it's going to imminently die on you. So as soon as it starts dimming, make sure that you put this thing on charge. While the battery gauge blinkers on the top are useful, you can't really see them unless you take the lamp off. So if it had some kind of a signal just saying that it was running out of battery, with the H2R Nova it has like an intermittent, really sharp blink that's pretty hard to not notice. And that was really helpful in letting me know exactly how much battery was running out, the amount of blinks and the time between each one. As long as you knew exactly what those meant, it was a good way to kind of, while you're wearing it, while you're walking, actually understand how much battery is left in the headlamp. But with this, the two little blinkers, while they're useful, weren't quite enough, and the dimming was a little bit annoying and a little bit kind of like, damn, I've got to get this lamp off and make sure I put it on charge because it's dimming and I can't see. So I don't know, but though I'm really finding it quite hard to find any kind of pet peeves about it. They were definitely the only two things. Okay, so that's it for my review of my Nitecore NU25. Which headlamp are you using for your through hikes and why? Do let us know in the comments section below. The trail hunter community would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I'll see you in the next one.